Your daughter can skip. This party's for our grandkids, Mom said, blocking the door while my sister's twins ran inside with wrapped gifts. I didn't argue. I just handed her an envelope. Happy birthday. Open it later. When she did, at 11:47 p.m., 83 missed calls flooded my phone. My mom had her hand on the doorframe like a bouncer. Not even joking. Palm flat, shoulder angled, smile locked in. Behind her, the living room was loud. Balloons, paper plates, the weird smell of crock-pot meatballs and scented candles. My sister's twins ran past in matching sweaters, each clutching a gift bag like they were late for the Oscars. Mom looked over my shoulder, not at me, at the little girl holding my hand. Your daughter can skip, she said, like she was offering a polite alternative menu. This party's for our grandkids. My kid blinked up at her. She was 9. She had a neat braid and a gift she picked herself. One of those self-care kits from Target because she'd heard my mom say the word once and decided it meant grown-up fancy. I felt the squeeze in my chest first, then the familiar urge to smooth it over. I didn't do either. I just nodded once and said, okay. My mom's smile twitched, like my agreement was the wrong line in the script. My sister, Tara, appeared behind her with a glass of wine, and that look she always wore when she was winning. Chin up, eyes bright, performance ready. Oh good, Tara said. I was worried you'd make it weird. I almost laughed at that. Almost. Instead, I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out a plain manila envelope. No label, no dramatic stamp, just my handwriting on the flap. Happy birthday. Open it later. I held it out to my mom. For you? I said. She took it with 2 fingers like it might be oily. What is this? She asked. Just open it later, I repeated. My kid's hand was still in mine. She was staring at the living room like it was a movie she wasn't allowed to watch. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I didn't remind my mom of the times I'd paid her property taxes just to keep her current. I didn't bring up the car I'd put a down payment on because the twins needed safe transportation. I didn't list my sacrifices like receipts at a return counter. I just turned around with my daughter and walked back down the porch steps. We got into my car at 6:12 p.m. I buckled her in. She stared straight ahead, eyes shiny but stubborn. Did I do something wrong? She asked quietly. That was the moment I almost broke. I swallowed hard and said, no, you didn't. This isn't about you. And I meant it. Because in my family, nothing was ever about the person actually standing there. It was about the story they liked telling. We went home. We made grilled cheese. We watched a dumb baking show. I let her pick the dessert, even though it was a Tuesday. At 11:47 p.m., my phone started vibrating like it was possessed. 1 missed call became 5. 5 became 20. 20 became a flood. 83 missed calls. Texts stacked on top of each other so fast my screen couldn't keep up. Mom, call me now. Tara, what did you do? Mom, this is not funny. Tara, you can't do this. Unknown number. My Aunt Sam. You need to fix this. I looked at the notifications and felt something unexpected. Not triumph. Not gloating. Just relief. Because the thing that bothered me wasn't that they didn't want my daughter at the party. It was that they finally said the quiet part out loud. And once it's out loud, you can stop pretending you misheard. I set my phone face down on the counter, washed the last plate, and went to bed. I wasn't angry. I wasn't cruel. I was just done. My name is Sam. I'm 41. I'm an attorney, estate planning and probate, mostly. The kind of lawyer people call when someone dies, someone's fighting, or someone suddenly remembers they were promised something. I'm not flashy. I don't drive a sports car. I wear the same 2 suits until the elbows shine. My idea of fun is a clean spreadsheet and a calendar with no surprises. I also have a daughter. Not biologically. Her name is Lily, and she came into my life when she was 4, after my best friend died and her mother disappeared into what I can only describe as a long, heartbreaking spiral. The court called it a guardianship first. Temporary. Then extended. Then, eventually, permanent. The paperwork alone took 18 months. Background checks. Home visits. School interviews. Therapy notes. The kind of scrutiny you'd think only applies to adopting a tiger. My family's response, in the beginning, was performative warmth. Oh wow, my mom said when I told her. That's very you. My dad, before he passed, patted my shoulder and said, good of you, son. My sister Tara posted a Facebook status about chosen family and got 112 likes. In person, it was different. They didn't say she wasn't family. They just treated her like a guest that stayed too long. At holidays, Lily got a generic gift bag. My sister's kids got personalized stuff, names embroidered, toys based on their current interests, little notes about how proud everyone was of them. When Lily called my mom Grandma once, my mom corrected her with a soft smile. "Just call me Nana," she said. And then, under her breath, like she didn't think I'd hear, "It's simpler." I heard. I always heard. I just kept thinking I could earn my way into being treated normally. That was my first mistake. My second mistake was money. Because I'm good at it. I understand it. I plan it. I don't panic. And in my family, competence reads like availability. My mom lives in the same house I grew up in. Mortgage mostly paid off. But she's the kind of person who never has cash because everything's so expensive now. Tara is 38, divorced, and permanently in some kind of crisis that requires immediate funding. She has twins, Ethan and Eli, who are good kids, honestly. Loud. Sweet. Not at fault. I've been the quiet stabilizer for so long I forgot what it felt like not to be. Here's a short list of things I paid for in the last 3 years. $3,840 for my mom's property tax shortfall after she forgot to file a senior exemption form. $1,200 for a plumber because the kitchen sink exploded. It was a clogged drain. $6,500 as a bridge loan for Tara when her rent was 1 week late, which turned into 2 months behind. $9,800 for a used Honda Odyssey because the twins need reliable transportation. $412 a month on auto pay for my mom's HOA dues because she kept getting late fees and it stressed her out. And yes, I know how ridiculous that sounds. I'm literally a lawyer. I read trust documents for a living. I still let my own family treat me like a standing order. Because they had a narrative. Sam is fine. Sam doesn't need anything. Sam's got it handled. And I was stupid enough to play my role. The pattern was always the same. They'd ask small, then bigger, then act like it was normal. If I hesitated, I'd get a sigh, a pause, a little guilt seasoning. My mom's favorite line was, "I just thought you'd want to help." Tara's favorite line was, "You don't even have real expenses. You're basically single." Which is a fun thing to say to a man raising a kid on his own. The thing that bothered me wasn't the money itself. It was the way they talked about it like it belonged to them. Like my work was a family resource, not my life. Then came the subtle stuff with Lily. At Tara's twins' birthday parties, Lily would be asked to help instead of play. Hand out napkins. Carry plates. Be a big helper. At Thanksgiving, Lily was put at the kids' table, but not with the cousins. Off to the side with a folding chair because there wasn't room. When I addressed it, my mom did the same dance every time. "Oh, Sam, don't be sensitive," she'd say. "You know we love her. It's just different." Different how? She never answered that part. And then, last spring, my mom called me crying. Actual crying. Full performance. "She's going to lose the house," she said. My heart dropped. I drove over. I sat at her kitchen table. I pulled up her mortgage portal on my laptop because she doesn't understand all that. The truth came out in 10 minutes. She wasn't losing the house. She'd taken out a home equity line of credit 3 years ago, quietly. Signed paperwork she didn't read. Used it to help Tara through the divorce. Then kept using it because it felt like free money. The HELOC was $58,000. Minimum payments had been skipped twice. There was no losing the house yet. There was just consequences approaching at a normal walking pace. I asked her, very calmly, "Why didn't you tell me about this when you took it out?" She wiped her cheeks and said, "Because I knew you'd judge me." I didn't judge her. I did what I always did. I fixed it. I refinanced the HELOC into a structured repayment plan and made the first lump payment to stop the delinquency. $12,000. From my savings. I told myself it was a one-time rescue. Then Tara started texting me like I was her bank's customer service line. "Did mom tell you about the house? Are you handling it?" Because we can't have mom stressed, the twins feel it. That last line was the dagger, using the kids to keep me in place. I started keeping notes. Not because I was plotting, because I was tired of feeling crazy. Dates, amounts, conversations. I'm not proud of it, but I even started saving screenshots. The moment that changed something in me happened on an ordinary Thursday. Tara called and said, "Hey, we're doing mom's birthday at her place. You can cover the catering, right? It'll be like $900, maybe $1,200. Don't make it weird." "Why am I covering catering?" I asked. Silence. Then the sigh. Because you always do, she said, like that was a moral argument. I said, I can bring food. I'm not paying a vendor. She laughed. Actually laughed. You're really going to nickel and dime Mom on her birthday? I stared at my office wall, at the framed certificate I worked my way into. First in my family to finish college. Then law school. Then a career built on cleaning up other people's messes. And my own family thought I was being cheap because I didn't want to be invoiced for my own exclusion. I said, fine, I'll bring something. And I hated myself for it. 2 days later, Tara sent the group chat a message. Theme is grandkids. Everyone bring a baby/toddler photo of your kid. Lily didn't have baby photos. Not like that. Her early years were scattered across case files and foster paperwork. I texted Tara privately. Can we do a different theme? Lily doesn't have those photos. Tara responded. Then she can just help decorate. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. That phrase is how people step on you and call it weather. I stared at that text for a long time. Then I opened a folder on my computer. Family. And inside it, I started organizing things the way I organize client cases. Bank transfers. Autopay confirmations. Venmo notes. Emails. Texts. Because here's what nobody tells you about being the responsible one. People don't thank you for being stable. They punish you for it. And at some point, stability becomes their entitlement. My dad died 2 years ago. Heart attack. Sudden. No warning. He and I had a complicated relationship, but we were close in the practical ways. We fixed things together. We talked about money. We understood each other without dramatics. Before he died, he asked me to draft his estate plan. Not because he didn't trust anyone else. Because he did trust me. There was a family trust. Nothing billionaire level. But enough that it mattered. The trust held 3 things. The house my mom lives in a trust, not outright. A brokerage account with about $410,000. A small life insurance payout that fed into the trust. My dad named my mom as income beneficiary. And he named me as trustee. Not Tara. Not my mom. Me. At the time, I saw it as administrative work. Pay bills. Distribute funds. Keep the lights on. I didn't see it as a lever. Until I did. After that grandkids theme text, I scheduled a consult with a colleague, another attorney in my firm who handles fiduciary litigation. I paid him like a normal client because I didn't want a favor. I wanted clean advice. He looked at my notes and said, Sam, you're not just a son here. You're a fiduciary. That word snapped everything into focus. Fiduciary. Duty. Neutrality. Documentation. He said, if you're paying your mom's personal expenses out of pocket while the trust covers other things, you're subsidizing a system that's already abusing you. And if the trust is being used to funnel support to your sister without proper distributions, you could get dragged into that. I felt my stomach drop. Not because I was scared of court, because I realized I'd been letting emotion override structure. So I set boundaries the way I set boundaries for clients. First, I separated everything. I canceled my personal autopays for my mom. Every single one. HOA. Utilities. That $412 a month. Gone. Second, I created a written distribution policy for the trust. Nothing fancy. 2 pages. Clear language. The trust would pay for my mom's housing expenses directly. The trust would not pay third parties without written request and documentation. No helping Tara through the trust unless it was a documented, justified distribution consistent with the trust's terms. Third, I notified my mom in writing. A letter. Calm. Firm. Certified mail, because I'm me. I didn't want an argument. I wanted a record. And then I waited. Because people show you who they are the moment you stop making things easy. The explosion didn't happen immediately. It built like pressure. Mom started calling more. Tara started checking in. Then Tara invited me to this birthday party with the grandkids theme and acted like I should be grateful for inclusion, while my daughter was being treated like a staff member. So I planned one last interaction. Not a blow-up. A final data point. I wrote one more letter. This one wasn't from Sam the son. It was from Sam the trustee. I put it in a manila envelope. Happy birthday. Open it later. I timed it for maximum clarity, not maximum pain. Because I wasn't trying to ruin a party. I was trying to end a pattern. The next morning, I got a call at 8:06 a.m. from my mom's number. I didn't answer. At 8:08, Tara called. I didn't answer. At 8:12, my aunt called. At 8:15, my mom texted, come over. Now. I dropped Lily at school at 8:42, kissed her forehead, and told her I'd see her at 3:10. Then I drove to my mom's house. When I walked in, the living room looked like a war room. My mom was sitting upright on the couch with the envelope in her lap, like it was evidence in a murder trial. Tara was pacing. My aunt was whispering to someone on speakerphone. The moment I stepped inside, Tara pointed at me like she'd been rehearsing. "What is wrong with you?" she snapped. My mom slapped the envelope with her palm. "Explain," she said, voice tight. I took off my coat slowly, hung it on the same hook I used as a teenager. Then I sat in the armchair across from them. "I'm guessing you opened it," I said. Tara held up the papers like they were contaminated. "It says you're freezing things," she stammered. "You can't do that." I nodded. "I can." My aunt jumped in. "Samuel, this is your mother." "I know," I said. "That's why I wrote it respectfully." My mom's eyes were wet. Real wet. Not the performative kind. "This is cruel," she whispered. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't lean forward. I stayed exactly where I was. "The thing that's cruel," I said, "is telling a 9-year-old she's not family at the front door." Tara scoffed. "Oh my God. Here we go? You're really doing all this because Mom said grandkids?" I looked at her. "Yes." She blinked like she expected a more complicated answer. "Yes," I repeated, because it clarified the truth. It wasn't a slip. It was policy. My mom shook her head. "Sam, you're twisting it. In your version of the story," I said, "I'm sensitive and dramatic. In mine, I'm the one who pays for everything and gets told who counts." Tara leaned over the coffee table, papers shaking in her hand. "This says the trust will only pay expenses directly," she snapped. "It says no cash transfers. No third-party support without documentation. That's targeting me." "It's not targeting you," I said. "It's complying with the trust." My aunt said, "But Tara needs help." I nodded. "Then Tara can get help." Tara laughed, sharp and mean. "From who?" "You." I took a breath. This was the moment I'd rehearsed in my head, not for drama, but for steadiness. "No," I said. Silence. My mom stared. "No, no," I repeated. "Not from me. Not like before." Tara's face flushed. "You're punishing us." I tilted my head. "This isn't punishment. It's boundaries." My mom grabbed the paper that listed the numbers. "You wrote that you're ceasing personal subsidies." "What does that even mean?" "It means," I said, "I'm not paying your HOA dues anymore. Or your utilities. Or your car insurance. That ended last night." My mom's mouth fell open. "But Sam, you have a trust that covers housing expenses," I said. "And you have Social Security. And you have a budget. You're not helpless." Tara slammed the papers on the table. "So you're just going to let Mom struggle?" she snapped. I looked at her calmly. "Tara," I said, "you took out a $58,000 helic through Mom and didn't tell me. You had her calling me crying like she was going to lose the house. Then you had the nerve to plan a grandkids party and exclude my kid at the door." Tara's eyes narrowed. "She's not." I raised my hand, not aggressive, just final. "Don't," I said. The room went quiet again. My mom whispered, "Sam, please. We didn't mean it like that." "You did," I said. "Because you said it." My aunt tried a new angle. "This is going to tear the family apart." I nodded once. It already was apart. I was just holding it together with my wallet. Tara leaned back, crossing her arms like she was the injured party. "So what now?" she said. "You're just done with us?" I looked at my mom. "I'm done being used," I said. "I'm still willing to have a relationship. A normal one. But the money part is over." My mom's voice cracked. "I'm your mother. And I'm your trustee," I said gently. "Those aren't the same role." That's when Tara started crying. Not soft crying. Big, theatrical sobs. "You're doing this to make a point," she said through tears. "To embarrass us." I shook my head. "I didn't post anything. I didn't tell anyone. I handed you an envelope. You're the ones making calls." My mom clutched the papers like she could squeeze them into changing. "What if I don't agree?" she whispered. I kept my voice even. "You don't have to agree," I said. "The trust terms are what they are. And I'm following them." Then I stood up. I didn't slam a door. I didn't throw a line meant for applause. I just said the truth. "I wasn't planning to destroy you," I said. "I was planning to stop letting you destroy me." And I left. The next 48 hours were a masterclass in manipulation. First, anger. Tara texted, "You're heartless." Mom is crying. The twins are asking why you hate them. I didn't respond. Then guilt. Mom texted, "I raised you. I never thought my own son would do this to me." I didn't respond. Then concern. My aunt left a voicemail about my mental health and how this isn't like me. That one almost got me because it was half true. It wasn't like me. Old me would have panicked and fixed it, but I had already moved the pieces. That's the part people don't understand about boundaries. The real power isn't the speech. It's the structure. The auto-pays were off. The trust distribution policy was in place. The bank had instructions in writing for how disbursements were handled. And because I'm a lawyer, I did it clean. No gray areas. No shouting. Just procedure. A week later, Tara tried another move. She showed up at my office. Reception called and said, "There's a woman here asking for you. She says it's urgent." I walked out and saw her sitting with her arms crossed, tears preloaded. She stood up fast. "Sam, please." I kept my voice low because I'm not a monster and I'm not trying to create a scene. "I can't talk about personal trust matters here," I said. "Email me." She grabbed my sleeve. "You can't cut Mom off like this." I removed her hand gently. I didn't cut her off. I stopped paying for things personally. The trust covers what it's supposed to cover. Her face hardened. "So you'll let the twins suffer." There it was again. The kids as leverage. I exhaled slowly. "The twins aren't suffering," I said. "They have a mother. They have a father. They have grandparents. They have resources. What they don't have is access to my bank account anymore." She looked like she wanted to scream. Instead, she whispered, venom sweet, "You think you're better than us because you're a lawyer?" I nodded slightly. "No, I think I'm tired because I'm a lawyer, and because I've been cleaning up messes I didn't make." Then she did the last predictable thing. She threatened me. "You know Mom can remove you," she said. "We'll get someone else as trustee." I almost smiled. "Try," I said calmly. "And if you want to challenge it, you can do it in court. With the trust document. With your hellic history. With the distribution records. With everything documented." Her eyes widened. Because she realized, finally, that the way I handle family now was the way I handle cases. Facts. Paper. Process. Not emotion. Not pleading. Not being the family ATM. The call slowed down after that. Not because they accepted it. Because they realized the usual tactics didn't work anymore. It's been 11 months. Lily calls my mom Nana now because Lily is smart and adaptable, and I refuse to make her fight battles she didn't choose. But here's the difference. Lily isn't trying to earn her way into the room anymore. Neither am I. My mom and I talk about once every 2 weeks. Short calls. Weather. School. Nothing financial. The first time she started to drift toward money, I said, "I'm not discussing that," and changed the subject. Tara and I don't really speak. I send birthday gifts to the twins directly. Nothing huge. Books. Lego sets. A jacket when winter hit early. I include a note that says, "Love you." Because I do. And because I won't punish children for adult behavior. My finances are quieter now. Not richer. Quieter. I sleep better. I go to the gym again. I don't flinch when my phone buzzes. And the thing I didn't expect? Lily laughs more. Because kids feel safety like temperature. They don't need big speeches. They need consistency. Here's what I learned the hard way. In some families, your value isn't who you are. It's what you provide. And the moment you stop providing, they act like you changed. You didn't. You just stopped compensating for their choices. I don't tell myself I won. This wasn't a competition. It was an exit from a role I never agreed to play. Not revenge. Just boundaries. If you're reading this and you're the steady one, the spreadsheet one, the fixer, listen to me. People who love you don't make you prove your place. And anyone who can exclude your child at the door doesn't get to keep a key to your life. That's it. That's the whole lesson. And honestly, it's the first birthday gift I've ever given myself that actually lasted. I'm on Sam's side here because his 9-year-old was turned away at 6:12 p.m. with this parties for our grandkids, after he'd been covering $412 per month HOA and even stabilized a $58,000 helic, and he chose a happy birthday, open it later, envelope instead of a scene. What this story teaches us is that boundaries only hold when they're built into systems, especially when. Second, secure the money flow. Cancel personal autopays, require direct payment of approved expenses, and send changes by certified mail with a clear deadline.